We have another episode from the Lair. And you gotta bear with me tonight. I've had really bad headache all day. Pretty much tends to happen when you have 60 pounds of Semtex blow up 13 feet away from you. I got one comment here basically stating, why am I being such a warmonger? Well, I'm a war hoarder. I studied war. I've dedicated my life and my career to war. But do I want to see another war? No, that's a warmonger. I really don't want to see any crazy shit like that go down. It's never good for anybody. But violence is the ultimate answer. So if it has to come down to that, then it is what it is. I already know I'm not going to get a good review when I leave. So, one more or two more are not really going to make much of a difference. So I'm probably going to walk through in hell, such as my grandfather used to say. I can remember my grandma, Bill, did you just tell him he's going to hell? Because she got really upset because he actually wore like the shirt and the collar, the whole deal. So when he said you're going to hell, man, woo, that was some scary shit. Somebody made a comment on one of the things about being average, and how the system forces you to be average. All right. First of all, you build your own walls, okay? You build the box that imprisons you pretty much for your life. I was there, I was 89 pounds when I went into high school, 9th grade, 4'8". I looked like a 5th grader. All right, got my ass kicked on the football field. By the time I got done with high school, I was 5'8" and 135 pounds at the age of 17. And brown hair, brown eyes with a 2.5 GPA. That is about as average as it gets right there. The epitome average. And if you are an average person and you don't want to be an average person, it's hard to change, but it can be done. I knew it was coming. I was coming down to it, and I had to make some big changes in my life. So I stepped into the fire, man. It's just the way it is. Weapons aren't forged in ice; they're forged in fire. They stick them in that hot-ass coal, usually the coal of hatred. They put you on the anvil and they beat the goddamn snot out of you to conform to the shape and size that they want. Then they put you in the fire some more, and they temper you and make you into, something exceptional. And that doesn't happen sitting around playing Xbox. That doesn't happen, washing dishes or being a guy who, restaurant worker, what have you. All right, you have to draw a line and just step over it. That's it. That's all it takes. Here I am. I'll do it. How hard is that, gentlemen? Well, it can be hard. I make it sound easy, but there will be a lot of pain, okay? There will be suffering. There will be loss, all right? This is not an easy road, okay? It is what it is. And if you're willing to put up with that, when you get done, you will have a character about you that will be second to none. You will be cut from that which legends are made. Okay? And you just have to do it for yourself. Nope, I could take you to the door, but you're the guy that's put the mouth guard in, open that door and walk through and take the hits and keep going forward. Why no more zombie apocalypse videos? Okay. The Zombie Apocalypse 4 video that I was originally going to put out was very easy to do and inexpensive and absolutely completely lethal. So, and I'm pretty sure they've already thought about this, but I'm just not going to put it on video. As you guys know, I'm writing a set of novels. It's all fiction. I call it the Jericho Files. It's about a psychic who used to work in the Stargate program, which was a remote viewing, and it actually existed. Fictional character all the way, but, he's a psychic, and he basically hunts serial killers, stops bad shit from happening to people. It's there's a lot of gore in it. There's some good kill scenes. I write about how he sets up his stocks, how he recons them, puts together his fucking plan, infill, exfil, primary, alternate contingency plans, how to deal with police and fire and how to recon routes. I mean, it's pretty good. There's a lot of spycraft shit in there. You guys will probably like it. I have the first 2 books done. I just got to get them edited, break them up into chapters. And they're about 110,000 words, so it's a good novel. All right, so that's the reason why I didn't put that zombie apocalypse out. And I'm probably going to put out a few more. I'm going to keep an eye on the news, and if I see something that is going to pop up on the radar, I'll address it. I got a bunch of shit about saying if you're bi, you're gay. Okay, you are. They just get all freaked out. I don't get it. And here's just a word of advice to you out there, gentlemen. If you always care what other people think about you, you are their slave. You're letting them in your control panel and randomly flip switches and make shit go crazy. All right, you need to build the bubble around you, and mentally nothing comes in. They can say whatever they want to, and you're like, phew, whatever. Just don't spit on me or touch me, then I'll bust you in the face. Okay, and I got a guy asking, they want some practical advice. Okay, well, give me some issues you want advice on, and, I can do my best to answer that for you. Okay, and then I had another person, say that, this whole thing, the way I talk, and all, this is an act. No, you can ask any of my soldiers I've ever been with. This is pretty much how I talk every day. I have all kinds of crazy sayings for shit, and people get upset about it. It is what it is. In fact, I remember I got yelled at by a major for calling an individual in my company, who I was the first sergeant of, a douchebag. He said it was unacceptable language, so I immediately changed it to, "You're a bag that hangs from the shower nozzle." And there's nothing he could say about that. I totally walked around him. He was mad, but it was still funny. Okay, VD stories. Somebody asked me a whole gonorrhea thing. All right. VD. Well, in the military, in the lower enlisted, you see it. You see it, okay? And as a young E5, I had to do sick call in the morning. I had, 2 or 3 guys that were coming for VD every 3, 4, 6 weeks, and I'd be looking at the guy in sick call, I have to put reason for sick call, block 4. What is it? He wouldn't say anything. I'm like, okay, VD, and send him off. And it was all fun and games until that one guy one day came back with syphilis. So I get called into my commander's office, and he's reading me the riot act about, one of my soldiers got, popped hot for syphilis. He goes, "How the hell did he get syphilis?" And I'm like, "Sir, I don't know. I'm not fucking him." "This isn't funny, Pop. This is a health issue," which it was. So I had to get the black book from this guy, all these chicks he's banging. I had to call them all and tell them they had 7 days to report to the Madigan Army Hospital to get treated for syphilis. And they were very unhappy, especially one who I called, and it was the mother, and the girl was just 17. And holy crap, she wanted to come on post and kill that guy. And I wouldn't have blamed her, and I probably would have let it happen, but I told him not to leave post, and I think he got out of the Army a little over a year later. I never saw him again. I don't know what happened to him. You want me to do an episode on fake friends, fair weather friends, and people I call brothers? That is a damn good idea, and I think I'm going to do that, and I'm going to really, I'm going to do it on a board and give it 100% effort. I'm not just going to gloss over it. You're a college educated. Why did you not become an officer? All right. Well, let's start off here. When I think I was 15, 16 years old. I was just a sophomore in high school. I just took the ASVAB. I scored rather well. They had a captain come to the high school. He was interviewing 3 people who are, wanting to get a West Point scholarship. So, I'm like, hey, I just said I was interested. I know he's not here to talk to me. Could you look at my file? Blah, blah, blah. Well, later on that day, I ran into him when I was going home from school. He was out smoking out front, and he just said, nah, West Point doesn't want you. In fact, I don't even think you're military material, which is not really a good thing to hear. But, it wouldn't be the first time somebody's told me, no, it's impossible, you can't do it, it's hopeless. I just took it with a grain of salt. Fast forward, I'm no longer, 15, 16. I'm now 21, 22. I'm in SFAS selection at Camp McCall, Fort Bragg. And lo and behold, who was in my selection class? Douchebag captain, who, by the way, was a newly minted captain. So that means he was, he got promoted to major on his second look, which is not really very flatterable for his performance. I didn't say anything to him. I'm sure he didn't remember me. So we go through the whole thing. It's a meat grinder. We showed up like 540 people. The last day is a 28-mile road march. They tell you it's an unknown distance. But we all know, you got to get it done in 8 hours or less because somebody leaked it out. I don't know. And this was early on, so, it was all fairly new. So, I had an injured foot, and I realized that, for me to make it in a time hack, I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop for water. I just had to walk the whole way and to gut it out. So I'm, keeping my pace count. I'm like right around 26, 27 miles. I'm looking at my watch, and I'm doing pretty good. And lo and behold, who's on the side of the road with a twisted ankle crying for his mama? Major scumbag douche. So, and this is like one of those stories was very satisfying. I'd stopped, did a right face, looked at him. The sun was coming up, so it was fairly late. He could see my face. I said, Major, you don't remember me, do ya? And he looked up and said, no, I don't. Do I know you? I'm like, yeah, Berkeley High School, 5 years ago, not good enough for West Point, not good enough to be in the Army. Well, I'm going to walk up this road here 2.5 miles and earn a chance to get my Green Beret, and you're a fucking quitter, you piece of shit. And I kicked this huge cloud of dirt right into his face. It has 2 lieutenants or some guys there were like making a big fuss. And I told them to shut the fuck up or I was going to split their skulls open with the rubber ducky I was holding. And left face, finished, got selected. I don't know what happened to him. I'm sure he retired to lieutenant colonel because that's fairly common. And another reason why I didn't become an officer is this. In my opinion, from my experience, the whole selection process for officers is based off of some 1750, 1850 criteria, which is a bunch of bullshit. We don't wear red or blue colors. We're not walking around on a battlefield where people using flags and shit. People are pushing buttons and people are dying, 150 miles away in a few minutes. And on the battlefield, it's in fractions of seconds. And, you need to have people on the ground that know what the hell they're doing. So, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, you get some of these new enlisted guys, and they have a good track record. They come in for 2 or 3 years. They make it to sergeant. Obviously, they have something that distinguishes them above and beyond some of these other douchebags. Give them the money. Send them to West Point. Make sure you have the best bang for your buck. Because I don't care if you were a captain of your football team. Being a captain of a football team has nothing to do with leading men in combat. Typically, this is what an officer will get. He comes in, he's a second lieutenant. He'll get a platoon for 6 months to a year. He may get another, section or platoon from second lieutenant to first lieutenant. Okay, which is not that much experience. And then after that, he goes to staff, works staff jobs, PowerPoint, doing your risk assessments, MDMP, all that crazy horse shit. And then most of them will get a company command. And they'll have that for 18 months to 2.5 years. Usually they don't go beyond 2 years. So, when you get I can't remember all the commanders I've had come through the door. Like, yeah, they're just punching their ticket to go down the way. Very few of these commanders move on to lead a battalion. Okay? And even fewer still above that. So, it gets brutal right around there. And, when I came in, I pushed troops. I didn't have to go to school to learn how to lead guys. I know you lead from the front and by example. It's just that easy. I don't know why a lot of the officer corps can't really do that. You know, as an E5, I was a team leader for 3 infantry teams. As an E6, I was a team leader for 3 infantry squads, 1 LERS team, and a sniper section. I was a Special Forces Weapons Sergeant, operated on a Special Forces A team for quite a few years. As a E7, I was a platoon sergeant for 3 platoons, and as a first sergeant, I was the first sergeant for 5 companies, 1 in combat. So, of the 31 years I've been in the military, I've been leading men from the front and by example for almost 28 of that. You know, I don't count the first 2 years because I was a douchebag and they had to fix me and stuff, but that's the way it goes. So I had a choice. Go become an officer, you know, do paperwork, be an ass kisser. Yeah, I'll get more money at the end. Life's not about money to me. Or be a quality dude and, you know, make a difference. That's the route I took. Because when I was over there doing shit in Iraq and it got crazy, nobody stopped to look at the platoon leader or the company commander. They all stopped and looked at me. I got some guy asking me about Glocks. First of all, I don't like Glocks. I don't like the trigger safety. A lot of bad shit happens when there's only one safety. I'm a fan of the Sig Sauer and Smith & Wesson, the reasonably priced pistols. Somebody else asked me if I like 45, 9mm or 10mm, 357 or 357 SIG. Listen, you're a I can't use monkeys because, you know, hairless monkey because they have tails. Okay, we're hairless chimpanzees. You hit us with a 22, we're done. I like the 45 because there's something romantic about firing a 45 caliber slug and seeing it fly through the air with your eye and knock people down. I mean, there's a lot of force there. 9mm was good enough for the Germans. It's good enough for anyone else. 10mm, women have a hard time with that, a lot of kick. I like the 357 Magnum in a revolver, and I can't get into the 357 SIG. Just not a big fan of the neck down brass for a pistol. Okay, somebody asked me why I promote still messing with women if I'm MGTOW or Red Pill. Well, first of all, I'm taking a 7-year hiatus from any relationships because I was going from one to another and it just, you know, it was just horrible. I had to break the cycle. And I'm pretty much cool being by myself. I only have like 1 year left to go before I even consider any of that bullshit. But all of these videos I put together so these men out there can learn the true nature of what's going on. Because if you learn something's nature, you have power over it. Okay? It can't fuck you up. Don't make the mistake I did and bet against their nature. Because the scorpion always stings the frog. Google that. It'll to answer all your questions. What is my take on this whole Milo thing that's going on? See, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I have no take on it at all. I have no personal or professional problems with him. But he is not, you know, off limits to me bagging on him. I'd bag on anybody. But I'm holding off and get the full story of what's going on because I'm not a fan of kicking a guy when he's down. It's just bad form. Okay, and then somebody asked me, are you ever going to chime in on the Jolie-Pat fiasco divorce? Pop, that is some low-hanging fruit. You are correct. It is low-hanging. I've been watching it fairly closely, and again, you know, Jolie basically, you know, pulled the golden bullet out and, you know, hit Mr. Pitt with everything. Hell, they found him no crazy behaviors whatsoever. And he's got supervised visitation of his kids. Really? That's fucking horseshit. So yeah, I'm gonna be digging into that. I'm gonna dig so far up somebody's ass, they're gonna be fucked for the rest of their life on that one. And I'm not really gonna lean on Pitt too much because he's just a typical dude in all this. She is the atypical fucking bitch queen. Okay, why all the fucking swords? That's a good question. A lot of them I bought them on midnight shopping, zombie shopping on Ambien, and I actually acquired quite a taste for them. I like using them. I actually want to enter some live steel competitions where you wear the armor and you go at it. I think that'd be pretty damn cool. All right, now there's another thing about Sharia law. I don't want to see that come here to America. Though, I'm going to be honest, there was a couple times when I was in court with my ex-wife, and I was like, God, it would be so great right now just to walk her out back and have everyone throw stones at her. Because my mind was in a bad place back then. This last one's a poem here. I had a couple stories, just ran over too much. Okay, here it is. If I should live to see the full length of my days, and die by hearth and home and sweet delight, then all of this pain and strife between will well be worth the fight. But if you call me forward 1 moment, 1 second before my time is due, then heaven help you and the devil protect you, because this ranger comes for you. All right, gentlemen, it was a long one. Maybe I can pare it down a little bit, but have a good night. Remember, don't go to the ground. Nothing good happens there.